We are go for liftoff in T minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
It's a low blog talk radio.
Welcome to Italo's Black Dog Radio. This is Italo speaking. What did I say? Did I say Italo speaking or Italo's Black Dog Radio? I don't know what I said.
You said welcome to Italo's Blog Talk Radio.
There you go. Thank you. That's my co-host, guys.
This is Italo.
Yeah, that's me. So yeah, this is Italo speaking. Welcome to another show. This is my season 2, another season. I don't even know how many seasons we got, but in this season, we're gonna talk about things that are uncomfortable because sometimes we have to talk about uncomfortable things. Otherwise, we can keep going like this. And we're talking about mothers. We're talking about family. We're talking about how everything's swept under the rug. And Shrug was like, well, this is your mom. This is your family. And this is, your brother, your sister. And that's the only family you got. And, blood stick in the water and all that bull crap that I hear all the time. And I'm like, stop. Stop. Please, patronizing me and making me feel like I'm talking to the wall. And so anyways, this is Erica.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm already going off like
no, it's okay. It's your introduction. We're gonna buckle up because we're in for a ride today.
Yeah, get ready, guys. Get ready.
Right.
So let's
pack in a conversation like this. It's not the fluffy, happy subject. It's the dark spots, right? It's the what they say, the dark, like your a lot of times your dark side, the hidden parts, makes you and you don't even realize it.
The stuff that the family says, oh no, that's not okay to say. We don't talk about that. We don't deal with our problems. I'm like, when are we gonna deal with? If you're my family,
right?
I'm supposed to trust you, right? You're supposed to be the elder. You're supposed to be the one that's guiding me. Who am I gonna talk to? To a therapist,
right?
Eventually I'm gonna have to face it, right? And now my mom's in the hospital. Just to give you a little scenario, what happened yesterday after we were fake crying. I'll have to.
I guess we get those fake tears for what's coming in real life.
Oh, right. Then came the real tears. Because my mom is basically living by herself now, on her own. And it's a long story as to how we got here, right? So for those that haven't followed me or haven't heard, me and my mom we're not speaking to each other until 2 days ago, and this has been 9 months that I decided to set my boundaries with her. And the reason I did that is because my mental health was declining to the point where I have high blood pressure, I have anxiety, I've had panic attacks in the past because family. And because you're not supposed to talk about this stuff. This is taboo to talk about. Depression. Oh no, you don't talk about depression. How. So my mom is. So I went to see her 2 days ago against my will. I didn't want to do this, and I think I was telling you. I'm like, I have to go, and I did. And she opened the door after I was knocking, and she didn't answer. And I called her and she's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm like, well, I was knocking on the door. And so she opened the door. Now, mind you, my mom is turning 70. in a few days. Today's 11th, right? She's
Mm-hmm.
turning 70 on the 15th, and she looks like an 80-year-old woman. And even my grandmother, who is almost 90, looks better than my mom today.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and this is not anything new, but being away from her for 9 months and
Mm-hmm.
then seeing this again has been such a revelation. Like, this is what I wasn't able to see this. I wasn't able to have a different perspective. And yet, 2 days ago, when I saw her like that, and she could barely walk, she had slurry speech. She was very slow at talking, and I thought she was probably high because she smokes. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, she's probably high, or I'm like, are you stoned, or what's going on? Like, no, no, I just woke up. So anyway, we had a little talk, and she was not all together. She could barely sign the forms that she had to sign. And I'm like, sign right here. Where? She could barely see. Okay. Anyhow, and I have this thing now where I have to set myself to see her, and I have to be conscious as to how long I stay with her.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, that's a boundary that I set to myself. Okay. So it was already coming to that part where I'm like, I gotta go. This is it. It's happening, right? She's bringing me back down with the ship. And we smoked and everything, and then she had a sip of my drink, which I didn't know what was going on, right? It was a Starbucks Frappuccino. Anyways, I'm making this longer than it has to be. Anyways, and then
Packing and
yesterday, yeah, I guess it's the unpacking part of the show. You can fast forward if you already whatever. I don't care. You do what you gotta do, guys. But any ways, my her roommate, who is her cousin, calls me the next day, which is yesterday, and she tells me, Victor, your mom is being sent to the hospital. A neighbor saw her in her car, which, by the way, she drove yesterday.
mm,
After I told my mom's cousin she's in no condition to be working today or yesterday, and so she went to work. Um, Against all my advice or my mom's cousin advice, she went to work, and then when she got back, she was in the parking. She managed to park, but the neighbor saw her from across the street, and she's like, "Yeah, are you okay? You look pale. You're not moving." I don't know how she managed to realize something was wrong with her, and she called my cousin, or my mom's cousin, and then she says she's not doing well. I'm calling 911. So the paramedics came and they took her to the hospital. They were like, yeah, this is not good.
mm-hmm.
My mom is diabetic, which I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know. I didn't know she
Mm-hmm.
was already diabetic, and so her blood, her glucose, which is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be 120, 120 is normal, right? She had it at 1200.
Jesus. Wow.
Yes.
That's
Now I didn't understand all of this until yesterday, right?
wow.
I'm like, what does that mean? 12, 1,000 first, and then like, no, it wasn't 1,000. It's 1,200.
Sorry.
It's
Sorry.
okay. So, and they tell me like that meant that your mom was gonna go in a coma.
Mm.
She was about to go in a coma. If this was if nobody was around and I wasn't around, and if she hadn't called any, if the neighbor hadn't called, she would have been in a coma.
Wow.
She's stable, like I told you, and I'm like, okay, now we can do the show because my high blood pressure probably is just the worst, right?
Mm.
And this is the problem. It's like this is the problem. Like this is not in the past. This is not
Right.
in the past. It's happening right now because you know what? We haven't dealt with this. And then my aunt, who is my mom's sister, is like, yeah, but that's your mom though. And that's, let be gone, and whatever the hell. I'm like, no, no. She needs a professional, first of all. She needs to have an intervention from all of us. And I'm gonna have to close the door again. I'm sorry, but this is too much to be dealing with. I have my own mental health condition, I have my own anxiety, and I have my own, and I don't call it depression no more because I understand it's not my depression. It was my
Right.
mom's depression. And she
Mm.
was, how we are so in tune with our parents or family, and I begin to feel um, something coming, right? Something like I'm not sure what this is, but it's not mine. But I think
Mhm.
it's mine because I feel, and that's an empathic thing, but I don't understand it, and I'm still trying to learn it, right? When it's something that is uh it's not in your head, like it's not happening right here, like nothing's going on, but I'm feeling it. And so yeah, so that's kind of like what happens with enmeshment, emotional incest, and all these things that we can talk for hours about it. But I want to just keep it simple because the message is my parents are messed up. My parents are broken. I'm barely being able to reestablish my relationship with my dad, who I haven't talked to for 4 years. And he
Mhm.
could have died last year of COVID.
Mhm.
I wouldn't have known that.
Mhm.
So it's all this stuff. Our parents are getting old
Mhm.
and more stubborn than ever. And you were sharing something about it on your live, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we have got to unpack.
Yeah. I think that it's important to do what you're doing, unpack, think about what's happening, what happened, how it happened, how it made you feel, whatever. I think with it, there's also the understanding that, listen, you can talk about, now there's phases to it. So you could just see here, the unpacking is necessary. But once you unpack, even if you think about if you had luggage and you went on a trip, once you unpack, what is the point? To clean the clothes, put them away, do something with it. So do something with this knowledge. So the next step I'm in the process of learning is, yeah, you got to create boundaries so that your mental health is intact, so that you can be better for your loved ones, for yours world, your own world you're creating. I have a son, so I need to be well for him. I don't want to have this generational thing that I'm handing down and teaching him how to be unhealthy emotionally and psychologically. I don't want that. I want him to be able to have the tools to say, you know what? I need you. I understand that you are where you are. I respect it. I respect that you are where you are. You are how you are. I am not here to change you. I used to be on the path of, let me just help you learn how to treat me. I'm not even going to teach you how to treat me anymore. What I'm going to do is create this fence,
Yeah.
which is a thing. I have a fence right outside of my neighbors, these neighbors over here. And mine's a whole backyard. Keeps out all kinds of riffraff, okay? That are not supposed to be in your space. And then also there's a fence that borders all the houses on that side. And then there's no fence with the houses that are in this stretch of property.
Adjacent to your house. Okay, I
Yes,
understand.
yeah, where all of our yards are connected. And
Right.
guess all the trash gets blown into my yard, and all over the place. The kids' toys from another yard come in my place. This lady I love her, but her stuff has found its way to my property. I need a healthy boundary now. I need a healthy lines. You know, these people have lines and boundaries where we don't go in their yards and they don't come in ours. Now I need boundaries with my neighbors. Listen, what's going to happen? This is what happens. I'm just trying to use an analogy. I hope you get where I'm going.
No, yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So,
it took me a while to understand boundaries. It took me a long ass time because
I'm still learning it.
I didn't know what they were. I didn't know I had an option to say stop talking about this or stop re-injuring me because
I think the healthy part is realizing I don't have to say stop to you anymore because I've told you what I don't want to happen. So I did this in a relationship, my last relationship I was in. I began to get healthy boundaries because it was just this constant revolving door of emotional stuff that was going on. And I said, you know what, this last time I was like, I love this person so much. I loved her so much. Okay. But I said, and I loved her to the point where I wasn't creating boundaries. So I didn't love myself. This is what I'm now realizing. I didn't even love myself enough because I didn't create boundaries to tell her this is not going to work like this. As much as I want you in my life, this is not going to work where you're going to be able to just say all kinds of things to me and I'm going to just push it down or sweep it under the rug or just be whatever. So I'm going to tell you, if you say these words to me, not even specifically, but if you talk to me in a disrespectful tone when there is not, this is not what the conversation is. It's not a disrespectful conversation. I'm not disrespectful to her. I wasn't disrespectful to her. I'm using this woman as a point. But it's my mom too. I guess I should let me just switch it up because it's mom's. Same thing with my mom was what I'm finding that when people are not excited about the boundaries that you give them, they're not excited.
Oh wow. Right.
It really hit home to me recently, and when I came back from Ghana, and I was like, these boundaries, and it's something I watched somebody, I heard something, someone was like, people aren't going to be excited that you give them boundaries. They're going to be mad. They're going to call you the problem. They're going to say that you are the one that's unkind and selfish. They're going to say that you are the one that is all the things that you're trying to create this healthy space for. And then you know what you have to do is you have to say, when you're creating that boundary, I'm learning and I've learned to say, okay, that's fine. But I'm still not going to let you talk to me this way. Mom, I'm still not going to let you talk to me this way. I'm still not going to be talked to this way. If you want to talk to me this way, I will not let you in my life. I literally don't want to be in your space and I will not allow you. The beauty of my company, we won't be friends. We won't talk. I don't want to talk to you on the phone. I will not see after you. I will not be in your space longer than it takes for me to drop off my son or to handle the business at hand. It will not be social gatherings. I will not be here for that. I don't want my personal space because you're toxic. And I said this exactly to her. And just like this, I don't want you in my personal space because you're toxic. You're toxic for me and my son. You call me names in front of my son. I could run down the list, but that's the unpacking that I've done already. But I just say, like, I don't, she has this habit of the name calling because she has no other defense of how to talk healthy. Like, hey, I feel this way. And it's like, well, you're this, and it's inflammatory, ridiculous things. So it's just like, no, I'm not those things. But if you want to call me those things, what I'm going to do is not give you the honor of my presence anymore.
Right.
That's happening. And I don't care if you have all these things going on, you need all this help doing whatever you need help doing. It won't be me. And I'm the closest relative she has.
Yeah.
So this is the, I guess that's my intro to
yeah. All right.
Unpacking the boundaries, healthy boundaries.
But some people may see it as not being loving or not being caring, and like what you said earlier is it is loving because you're loving yourself, right?
Yes.
And coming from a place of love is important too. And I have a problem with speaking up and saying something because it's going to come across as being disrespectful, being unnice, and being whatever, and politically incorrect and whatever. But it's come to the point where It's taxing on myself. It's taxing on me. It's affecting me, and it's affecting my well-being, and not only my well-being, but the people around me who I love dearly and I'm living with. And it's not fair to them either, because they're like, "Why are you mad at me? You should be
Right.
mad at your mom. You should be mad at your family, who is treating you like you're a child, and they're treating you like you're not. You don't have a voice, and you don't have independence. Like they
Mm.
treat you like you're still a freaking boy, because they still call me names when I was a boy, and I'm like, please don't call me that. And I say that nicely, which is the problem too. It's like, you
So
can't be nice. You can't
you
be
said it
nice.
started nicely long enough, and now it's just like putting. So it's just like, so it's me saying, like, just like me with my neighbors. It's one thing to say, "Hey, look, can you get your kids' stuff out of my yard?" And having to say that, like, I haven't said anything since I've come back from Ghana. I've been back from Ghana for like 6 weeks now, 7 weeks. Ensure her stuff is in my yard. I'm about to walk over there and say, "Please move your stuff off my yard now."
With that tone of voice too. Yes.
And she's a nice lady, but I've been sitting here like, I've been stewing about this, like, ugh, mad about it, mad to myself. Ugh, I can't believe she has her kids' toys in my yard, and it's a big, heavy thing to move because I was going to move it myself. It's a sandbox, and it's just so heavy, and it's like I can't move it off my property. Why is it on my property? On my side, just move it if you over it. Keep your junk over there. You don't have to do this, and it's like all kinds of stuff. So I'm just trying to say, this is the same. Again, let's take this same thing. Listen, I said, don't call me that name anymore. If you continue to call me that name, I will not respond to it, and I will not acknowledge you. Period.
Yeah, that's what I have to work on. I have to work on that.
Practice it with
Be stern. Being stern.
practice.
I can't. I'm like, I don't want to. Yeah, don't call me anymore. Otherwise, I have to go. This is gonna have to stop. I have to be more. I can't be smiling because I'm always like.
I know. But look, it's even just okay. You say that. Practice it like this. I don't like that name. I'm a grown. You don't even have to say you're a grown person, but I don't like that name. And if you continue to call me that name, I will not respond to you, and I will not acknowledge you anymore.
Right. Even when my aunt was talking to me on the phone, and she was just saying Victor, Victor, Victor without tone. That, even though it's not name calling, right? It's not. It's called, that's my name, right? Just the tone. You're using that tone. Like, come on, Victor, 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 Bueller. That's what I hear in my head. I'm like, shut up. Don't talk to me like a Karen right now. Like, you're just, yeah. Just the tone you're using, even if it's, whatever, a name or an endearing term that they use, right? Like Vitito or little Victor. That's cute, okay, but the tone you're using is very condescending.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Oh, and it's sometimes we think that sometimes we have to, some people have had to do the pushing down stuff, but that doesn't get it done. Like, so I ignore it. Okay, I'm just gonna ignore her. I'm gonna ignore my mom.
That doesn't work. It doesn't work.
It works for a little bit because it's, listen, at least I don't have to
yeah.
but it doesn't work for inside here, which is the part that we are responsible for. You're not responsible for. I'm not responsible for lovers. I'm not responsible for anybody but me and my mental health and creating the space that is best for me. And if that means that I have to remove myself from all the toxicity, what I consider toxic, which is anybody who is not helping me to raise my vibration, then that's what it means. I have to sit here by myself. Good. If it means that I don't talk to you for days and days and weeks and months and years for my mental health, that is the point.
Yeah.
And others should be working on themselves to the same degree, because then we will attract each other because we're working on ourselves and we're developing and we're growing and we're saying, I've done this. My toxicity has impacted the people around me. How so? This is how. Let me create fence now. Let me create a healthy space. It's my space and it's healthy for me. But yeah, so I just, you don't have to say it like that to anybody. It's something you're saying to yourself, right?
Exactly.
I'm not trying to tell this idea to my mother anymore.
Because I've learned to because I had to like always say like, well, the reason I'm telling you this is because I need to stop doing this. I need to stop explaining myself to you as if you were, you're almost 70, right? Or my mom's almost 70, or my aunt's in the 60s. And you should be able to understand, I don't have to explain it to you. I don't have to explain to you the trauma that I lived in my 49 years. I don't have to explain it to you. I don't have to tell you everything because that's mine. That's my personal battle that I have in my, what I'm saying. And so I tend to do that. I tend to explain myself a lot to the point where, it's like, yeah, you shouldn't talk to me this way because that makes me feel blah, 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 blah. And by the end of that, it's like, oh, I'm still going to call you whatever I want to call you because you're not being stern. You're not saying, stop that today.
Yeah.
Stop it.
But even if it's, I think that the point is, okay, so me and my mom got a really bad argument. And I was saying, I don't want you to talk to me that way. I don't want you to talk to me that way. That's basically what my argument was. I don't want you to talk to me that way. I'm not going to receive, I don't want to be talked to that way. And if you want to talk to me that way, then I'm not going to take you. We were driving and I was like, I'm going to take you back to my sister's house and I'm not going to be talked to this way in my car in front of my son. Not happening. So it became a big thing and whatever. She didn't want to listen. Oh, I'm just so disrespectful. And I said, okay, I'm disrespectful. Fine. I don't want to be talked to that way. You know what happened? But at the end of it all, we wound up, I got talked down from my emotional side. My brother-in-law helped me. My sister listened to me and they were like, they helped me understand something that I needed to understand. My mother has literally a mental health issue and it's not dealt with properly. And so it goes into this mania kind of frenzied thing of name calling and accusations, completely false accusations, like outlandishly false. Like it's not even like, well, you went to the store and something small. It's like bad. Like nobody in their right mind would be talking this way to me, saying the things she's saying. It's not an accusation that's anywhere near accurate. So my brother-in-law told me, he said, she doesn't take her medication right. She has a serious mental health issue. And it is your responsibility as the person who is not on medication at this point, not that if anybody's on medication, I'm not trying to say I'm not better or worse. I'm just trying to say, as a person who has a cognizance of mind to understand this, you need to remove yourself from her presence as much as you can. And when you are around her, act accordingly. You're dealing with, literally get it in your head. She has a mental health issue. You're not going to talk to somebody with a mental health issue the same way you would talk to somebody who's healthy.
Exactly. Okay. We have a minute left. Erica, we're going to do a part 2 right now. Give me a second, okay? Let's continue the conversation. No, while I was we were on a little break, and I started thinking about how ways that my mom was crossing boundaries, because as we were talking about boundaries, right? And there's obvious things like being in the shower and then she walks in and goes to the toilet, and I'm like, I'm taking a shower. Can you wait? Like, no, I gotta go. Okay. It's uncomfortable to be showering, and this is like a glass. Anyhow, and to the point where I had to be like, if I'm gonna go to the bathroom, that's one boundary. I was like, you're not gonna go inside. You gotta go first. Go, because once I'm in the bathroom, you're not gonna come in to interrupt my shower time.
Mhm.
And I don't take long showers either because
Mhm.
that's why, because my mom was always like behind the door, like a little dog. And um, another, and this is just a plain example, but there's also ways where she was butting into my relationships. We'd be watching TV, and all of a sudden, out she comes, and she's um, in the sofa next to us. And we're like, we're trying to have a moment. What if we want to make out or whatever? And then you're here. It was uncomfortable to the point where I felt uncomfortable, and I had to sit with her because now what do I have to choose? And there's also the fact that she always had an opinion about everybody I date. Um, I mean, you name it. There's so many examples. Um, and I have to now realize it's like we don't know about boundaries in my family. And I'm talking about all my family. I'm not talking just about me and my mom, but I see this in my cousins. I see this with my relatives um, who are out of the country. Everybody crossing boundaries left and right, and they don't even know that's not okay to do. Did I freeze?
No.
Oh, let's see. Yeah. So my family has a habit of doing that, and to the point where especially the male sons and their moms, they have this weird, almost incestuous, but it's not. It's not sexual. It's more emotional support. Or they always tell me you're her emotional support, and I'm like, am I the emotional support? Am I? When did I take this role?
Yeah, normalizing these toxic patterns, right? Because if you see it on the outside, you're gonna be like, but you're seeing it on the inside, and it's like, well, this is my normal.
Yeah.
And like, how did that get normalized? And and is it better? This is something I've had to think about. Is it better to know to be okay with or normalizing this abnormality that has been accepted? Or is it better to work on being healthy by creating boundaries and potentially more than likely being considered the black sheep of the family?
I'll take the latter.
That's what I did. Because I have this life to live. I believe this, and this is, I don't, this is a whole nother topic, but I believe we asked to be here. And when I asked to be here, I did not ask, I know I didn't ask for unhealthy relationships.
Yeah.
I don't believe that at all. I believe I asked for abundance and love and joy. When we're here, there's joy here. There are things that we're supposed to be enjoying. When I hear people say, like, this life is so hard, or my life has been nothing but trouble, or something like that on those lines, I'm like, you are the creator of this. Not to say that you're the problem, not to like that, but like let's create then. Let's create the world we want. So that means saying, and not accusing anybody at all, just saying what I'm not going to take. Just like I don't need to go to my neighbors and be like, you're disgusting and you're filthy.
Leech and C word.
Right. And call it days. I don't need to do that. What I need to say is, your things are on my property and I don't want them on here anymore.
And the thing is the tone, like, okay, I always had this belief that when things escalated out of control to the point where I couldn't take it no more, I always thought there had to be some drama, the peak of something, like when it happens again and it gets to that point and I have to be upset and I have to be all like, stop, like, so I was told, like, no, you have to do it with this You have to
Peace.
breathe first,
Yeah.
and I always get reminded like, oh God, I didn't breathe. Okay, so once I'm collected and
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the zone, I'm in the moment, and I can use this tone like I'm using right now, and then we're gonna talk like adults because I'm not a child, and we're equals right now. I'm 49. I'm not longer a 14. I'm no longer 4. So you cannot talk to me like I'm a 4-year-old. And let's just talk in that at this level, at this tone. We're not gonna raise our voice. We're not gonna over talk over each other, and we're just gonna have a communication. How's that?
But what if this is the thing where this is the point that I've gotten to. I used to, when I first learned about creating the boundaries, healthy boundaries, because I'm going to love myself. This is part of loving yourself. When I understood this, it then became almost immediately like hand in hand. Like I learned creating the boundaries is not about trying to change somebody. It's about creating this space for me alone. You want to talk to me like that. I get it. I get it. You have that. You can have that over there. I can't control who you talk to about me, what you say about me, how you feel about me even. But what I'm not going to do is create a space for you in my world anymore. So I guess I just want to say, like, it has been healing for me to not try to change anybody anymore. I was on that path of, let me help you understand.
Yeah.
And I get on it with new relationships. Oh, I think I'm misunderstood. And I'm learning to just back off of that. Like, I'm going to be misunderstood. That's okay.
Right.
It's okay with me that you don't understand what I'm saying. What I'm telling you now, though, is that that's not happening anymore. We're not doing. Yeah. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. You can talk about me all you want to. You can call me all the names. That's your pattern. That's not healthy for me anymore. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for me to explain to you anymore why I feel unhealthy about this.
Exactly.
It's a cycle you create. Let me help you this conversation, and it goes nowhere. You're literally spinning your wheels. Get off the crazy train.
And I don't go through this because I'm not a Black person, right? But I also have this. It's the same thing with people who are racist, and try to explain to people, how are you racist and how does that sound racist right now? And my family is very racist too, and I cannot explain it to you. How is that wrong? How is it wrong to call a homeless person a bomb? How is it to call a negro or whatever you're gonna use, whatever N word you're gonna use? How wrong is this? And those people, using terms that are very subtle sometimes, and you're like
microaggressions, yeah.
And then my ex-boyfriend, who is Black, he because I was explaining to him something that my mom used to speak in Spanish in front of him, and she would say it under her breath for me to hear. So it would be like a dog whistle, like only I can hear what she's saying. And then he'd be like, what is she saying? What is she saying? What did she say right now? Because he knew she was talking about him, and she knows English enough to communicate in English. So he's like, she says something right now. What did she say? She's like, oh, I don't want to say it. So he knew, hey, just be honest. What did she say? Well, she called you a bastard, and she called you the N-word, and he's like, I don't give a fuck if she said it in Spanish. It's still offensive. And you didn't say anything. You didn't stand up to her. I didn't stand up to my mom and said that's wrong to say. And sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I'm like, well, should I fight this battle again?
But it's fighting the battles becomes, is it for me or for you? Like, is it for my sanity? Listen, I'm not gonna. So I tell my people I've been involved with, I say to them, I say, the people that I'm really care about, like, I mean, and which is anybody I'm involved with, I would tell them, I would never sit around. I don't care what the situation was. And I prided myself on this, and I still do. I will never sit around somebody who wanted to berate you in front of me, because I love you. And I'm not trying to condemn you at all. I'm just trying to tell you how I did. I said, I wouldn't do that. But then I started realizing people are trying to survive their own way. And instead of fighting this battle, they'll say, I know how to deal with you. I know how to deal. I know how, like you pushing it down, sweeping under the rug. But this is where this unpacking, this part of the unpacking is something that probably is more ingrained, you know, like you grew up like that. You grew up hearing these microaggressions through another language. You know, it's racism doesn't change because you speak in another language. It's just, you know, you soften the blow to the people who don't understand you.
Right. I
Or
told him, I'm like, but you said it in Spanish, which, you know, negro means black. Nah. He's like, nah, 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 nah. You're not
yeah.
gonna say that. You're not gonna
So
do that. Because
yeah,
the tone of voice she was using was offensive, and it was meant to be hurtful. Doesn't matter if you're being called a boy. Hey boy. It
mm-hmm,
doesn't matter what you say. It's
mm-hmm,
how you say it and how you meant it and how in what context you're saying it. You could be saying the nicest things to somebody,
mm-hmm.
and with that intention though, it's like, yeah, that it, then it sounded fine, it sounded lovely, but do you really, you know what? Is it something
Mm-hmm.
underneath that tone?
Yeah. That's that. What is it they say? A rose by any other name is still a rose. You know, like you know, racism is it doesn't racism and prejudice and on all this conversation that doesn't change because you know you're of Hispanic descent. You know,
Mm.
Hispanics are have black
Oh yeah,
ancestry. So you know,
this
like it
yeah.
change, you can still be have this prejudice and this you know, this thought process that is obviously, you know, very toxic. This toxic part, I think, is just like I don't think that we need to be like on a like a Ghostbusters on a ghost busting kind of like who's toxic around me. It's literally you can
Yeah,
feel it. You
yeah.
can feel the energy. You don't have to look for it. And I my thing is I'm on this path of I really want to do my best to attract like I want to attract positive energy and like-minded people. And and I hope that my vibration is high where I'm not attracting, you know,
Right.
anything negative, any that is, or not just say negative, but anything that was on the contrast of what I am on the, you know, not trying to do. But contrast does help you to know where to go. It helps you, it directs you. So you see, for instance, your mom. Eventually, hopefully, you'll be able to have this thought process that says, "I really dislike how my mother it has treating me like a child. I know that I deserve to be treated like a full grown man." And then changing your thoughts to, I like being treated like a full grown man. I like being treated with respect. And guess what happens? You're no longer concentrating on
Mm, okay.
this, and it's not, and it's a process. I'm not trying to at all say, look, this is bad. It's where you are is a good place. But you're no longer concentrating on you're not going to treat me this way. She treats me this way. I don't like it. And I need, you know, all that. It's a conversation of, you know what? I'm glad that I understand this now. I deserve to be treated with respect, and I'm going to attract people who treat me with respect. And if that means I'm by myself for a little bit because I'm on this journey on the path of
Mm,
elevating and raising my vibration to a
mm,
level that is on people's path who
mhm.
respect me and speak respectfully, then so be it. I'll be by myself, and I'm okay
Yeah,
with that because myself is beautiful. I am
yeah.
beautiful. You are beautiful, Victor.
You too. um, yeah, and it's just such a lovely space that I'm on, right? And I was on until 2 days ago, to be honest,
But no,
where I'm like,
but no. Don't say, don't even. I mean, I want you
I
to
know,
understand. That's
I
the
know what you
contrast.
mean.
Contrast, right? This is what God, the universe shows us. The contrast is not there to show you or to beat you down. To beat. Sometimes I feel like we feel like life is there to beat us down and keep us. You know, sometimes I felt that way. Like, really, you're just
Yeah,
gonna keep your neck on me? No, the
mm,
contrast is there to say now you have the opportunity
yeah,
to raise vibration. This is not what you want anymore.
and I have the ability to say, like I always picture myself in front of my mom or in front of the people that are hurting me and not being able to speak up. as before, or I would be too emotional to talk, or too, it's like I didn't want to, touch the wound that is still they're inflicting it, and so for me, avoidance was the key, right? It was avoiding. Let's not do it today. Let's not do it tomorrow. Maybe on your birthday, no. Maybe Christmas time is maybe Thanksgiving. No, it's not a good idea. Until I'm like, if now, if not, it's not a good time. When is it gonna be a good time? It's never gonna be a good time, is it? It's always gonna be uncomfortable. You're always gonna be saying, nah, I'm not ready right now. I'm not. This is no, like when it's already 2021. It's like, come on, it's like I'm 49. How old do I have to get for them to realize I'm in a different space? And I tell them, I'm like, I'm working on my mental health. And if we're not gonna be able to sit down with a therapist, I told my mom, I'm like, if we're not gonna be able to sit down with a therapist and talk this, because I always have this idea, I'm like, she's gonna twist my words, she's gonna say I said something and it wasn't. I like to record it because I know she's gonna twist this. So you know what I mean? Like, I have all this fear.
Yep. All this, you have these defenses up, and defenses are not the same as a boundary. It's not. Defenses up are like, okay, I've got my headgear, I've got my, sort of pass, which might be necessary. But isn't it more freeing to say, I'm creating this? Okay, like if I was to say, like, I'm just going to use this analogy again with my neighbors. If I was to say, I'm going to I'm going to dig out a path where I can walk because it's just grass back there. So, and I walk back and forth to my car a lot. So I'm like, if I just dig out a path where I can walk on the grass and then pour the concrete, and this is only for me to walk on, and you guys better not mess up my path. Oh, wait a minute. What I'm going to do is just say, I don't want to put on my protective gear. Let me go this side, because this analogy is coming to my mind. I got bitten by a dog in 2017. I don't know if I told you this. I think I told you this. I don't know. Okay, so I've been bitten by a dog in 2017, and I had this real big PTSD. That just literally hearing a dog barks just was like, it got me just in such a bad space. I was so bad, and I got some healing earlier this year. I really had. It's amazing. I was about to do some light work and clean some energy out of me. It really made a huge difference. So now I can talk I was fine with I got okay with my sister's dog. I know him, but any other dog in this world, no, I don't want to hear. I don't want to come up to, I don't want to be friendly, but I've got, so much. It's just like, I don't have to, had a mace in my hands anytime I was going anywhere. I had pepper spray. I had, all these, the defense, which for that time to cope with my PTSD was necessary. But you know how freeing it is to walk out the door and I don't need to look for my mace. I do look to see what's out there if there's dogs, but you see the difference. There's a way I live now, and I'm not in fear of what's coming towards me. I'm not on the defense anymore. I'm aware that I do have these things, and it sits in my purse or sits somewhere. Yeah, most of the time I'm not even thinking about it. But that's the life I feel for me is abundance. The point of saying, I don't have to have all this protective gear on because I've created a healthy space for myself where I can go where I need to go and not be scared that somebody's going to hurt me or trigger me, or, I have to do better.
Right.
Better. If I see my mom, guess what I do? This is the way I deal with them. I'm not saying it's the healthiest, but for now, this is what I do. When I see my mom, to this day, right now, yesterday, I dropped off my son. I stay in my car for many reasons. I get bitten by mosquitoes instantly there, and I just can't deal with it. So I stay. So that's just become my thing. So I sit in my car and I say, "Hey, Mom." I call on the phone. "Hey, Mom, we're here. Dan's ready to come in the cops. Can you open the door so he doesn't get bitten up?" "Sure, no problem." She opens the door. "Hey, how you doing?" "Good." "All right, I gotta go before these mosquitoes come. Bye." And then I move on.
Right.
Like I used to have this guilt of I gotta sit here and talk to her, and it became some problem that needed to be. addressed, and and it always, I'm just going to show you a little bit of unpacking like I've done. So this is the thing I realized. My mom, this is how she would come deal with the problem. This is how she deals with the problems. Imagine you're having a perfectly fine, beautiful day, minding your business, and you come over to spend time or hang out or whatever. And this is what's said. I know that you're not going to like what I'm about to say.
Oh, great.
But excuse me for my language. I shut down. That's the defense. I'll be like, done.
Yeah.
If you know I'm not going to like what you're about to say, then don't say it to me.
Don't say it.
Don't say it. I don't care how necessary. If you think it's necessary to preface it like that, that's like, do not do that. That's the worst trigger for somebody.
Yeah.
Like, no, I know you're really not gonna like what I'm about to say. Isn't that like trigger? Like, what is that?
It's like disclosure. You're not gonna like this.
But it's like, well, you know what I do when I get those disclosures? This may trigger you. Shut it down. I turn the channel. On TikTok, when I see somebody say trigger warning and it's something I don't want to see, flip, scroll. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be triggered. So that's what I do emotionally. I'm gonna flip off and be like, I don't want to hear it. If you have to preface what you have to say like that, I'm done. So I've created a space where I told her, I said, yeah, so she saw what I did last time when she did that. Yeah, I'm not going to stay around. What I'm going to do, I knew it. I knew you'd go, yeah, because you're prefacing this. Now, once you learn, with me anyway, if you want me to listen to what you have to say, don't preface that. Just say what you have to say.
Right.
If it's good. I mean, even if it's not good, I'm just like, hey, listen, I just wanted to tell you this, but what she was saying was BS. But, it was just like, because it was an accusation. But it was just like, wait, well, why do we do that? So I'm just trying to say, I don't know. I think that it's an important thing to be as healthy and happy and free as you can be in this life. I think that's the gift of this life. And when you take the time to love yourself enough to say, I deserve this. I don't have to have anybody else think I deserve it in this world. I know I do. I deserve peace. I deserve peace. I deserve joy, and I deserve good things, and I deserve to be talked to respectfully. And so then you're thinking about all the people who don't do that, because it's the contrast. Who does that? Oh, my mom, my ex, this to me. Oh no, now I'm on the path of, I don't think about my ex when I think about what I deserve. Now I think about all the people who love me, who make me, who cause me to understand. People like you on TikTok, people I met on social media that said, wow, this is what I attracted to myself.
Right.
People who are on this vibrational level that are healthier, who are learning how to move through their trauma in a healthy way, responding in ways that are going to be advantageous, and then leaving it for another generation. How awesome is that,
Right. And I think, speaking of generations, because we, and I'm always having an issue not knowing that I'm not a millennial. I'm a Generation X, I think. And it's hard. It's hard to understand that sometimes. It's like, oh, okay. But I see the new generation, I think they call them Y, Z generation, Z. They're more in tune with themselves, and we're evolving in some ways in that sense, which is great. I like seeing that. I like seeing people who are respectful, even in my Uber rides, when they come in and they say good morning, good afternoon, and how you doing, even if they don't talk to me, which is another boundary, right? If I see them with their earpieces, I understand they want to be left alone, and that's a boundary right there. They don't have to say anything to me. And I used to be the one trying to have a conversation where we're going to have a long ride or whatever. They don't want to talk.
Yeah,
it's not personal. Don't take it personal, because I used to take it personal, and I'm like, maybe they don't like the song. I'm gonna change the song because this. And I realize that they're not even listening to me.
No,
And,
they got music.
yeah, it's like they're on their own little world, and that's fine.
That's their boundary and safe space, right? Look at that thought though. Isn't that beautiful?
It's beautiful. Like I admire them. I'm like, I really admire that
Yeah.
from a younger generation than me, and the 20-year-olds that are coming in, and
Mm-hmm.
even when I go to USC, the university, they're very respectful. They've never given me any trouble. They've never insulted me. They've never said, well, they might cuss, but even if they cuss, it's not directed at me, or they're making fun of whatever, or they're just saying F this or F that, but they're not talking to me like that. They're respectful. And so I'm like, all right, that's cool. And they
Mm-hmm.
have their boundaries, and they know their boundaries. They know they don't want to talk, and it's a transaction, like going from
Yeah.
point A to point B is a transaction.
Mm-hmm.
So I respect. And then usually the older baby boomers that come in my car, they want to talk because they feel like the silence is uncomfortable. They don't like
Right.
that. They have
Right.
to fill every space with sound and noise, and all right.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't like that generation no more. I'm more, like in tune with the new generation for some reason.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I respect my boundaries, and I respect people's boundaries. I think that's what it is. It's like,
Well, it's good that you're adaptable too. You
oh
know?
yeah, I love all music. Like I have some friend or acquaintances now, I call them, that are so stuck in the past. They're so stuck in. I don't like anything if it's not the '80s. If it's not, this band, I don't want to hear no, because the new music is so, whatever. And I'm like, I'm open because you like I was telling you. I always download music, and for me now, I'm pleasing myself now, in the sense that if I'm in my car, I'm driving, I want to enjoy myself. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
doing it for the passenger. If they
Mm-hmm.
enjoy what I'm playing, great. I can turn it up if they want me to, or turn it down. But I was downloading all this disco guilty pleasures of mine. I'm like, I always like that song, and why don't I just play it? See what
Yeah.
happens, right? And sometimes you change people's moods, and they're like,
Mhm.
all like,
Oh,
arguing.
yeah, music does. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no. And somebody told me, it's like, can you turn that song up, that music?
Ah,
And I'm like, this song? You like this song too? Like, yeah, I haven't heard that in a while. Okay, I remember this concert, or I went to see them, and I'm like, okay.
oh, oh,
She wasn't talking until I played that song. It was called Free Bird.
nice. But look,
And
that's
I'm
the thing
like, okay.
about music. Anybody, really, music has of any generation or any genre, is that music is not one thing. Music is very static. Everybody's borrowing from every other, whether it's hip hop, they borrow from classical music to jazz to,
Yeah.
to Afro beats to all of
Mm,
these, this intersectionality in music. Like you're borrowing from all of these different places to create this sound that is uniquely yours, in a particular genre or whatever. But I hear it all the time. I'm like, this is, by my friend, like he's a Nigerian artist, but he's into hip hop, like mainstream hip hop, but he's Nigerian, so it's Niger hip hop, but it's also hip hop. It's not Afro beats. I'm just trying to use that as an example to say everybody's sampling everything. What do you mean that you don't like anything else? They're sampling from the 70s. They're
mm.
nowadays music is being sampled from these classical eras and actually before, like I hate to
Yeah.
say this. Some people may not like that I make this reference. There's this
Uh-oh.
there's this big some people. I know. Here I go.
That's your
I
disclosure.
know. Trigger. No,
You're
but
not gonna like this one. Here it goes. I'm
trigger.
gonna ruin your day. I'm
Okay.
not
Let
gonna.
me tell you,
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
that was a good thing. Thank you.
I
I'm
caught
great.
that. I caught that.
So I'm gonna say this that there's a song Blood on the Leaves. Blood on the Leaves. You know that song? It's who's it? Blood on the Leaves. There's a song that's really popular on TikTok right now. It's a sound. This guy sampled this original song. It's called Strange Fruit. Strange Fruit.
Oh
It's the
yeah, I know
yeah,
Strange
Strange
Fruit. Yeah.
and they called it Blood on the Leaves today, like
Mm.
2021. a hit on TikTok, blood on the leaves, and they use the sample from Strange Fruit, right? So people don't like it because of the reference of Strange Fruit. I know what it means. I know what it's about. If you don't know, please Google it. This is not discussion.
Yeah, we're not going to educate you here.
Right. But Google it, strange fruit, blood on the leaves, blah, blah, blah. People are there's a lot of this. But you don't have, this is the contrast part. This creates a conversation with people who don't know, with people who do know, with people, this adjustment that people have to this original song.
Ella Fitzgerald, yeah.
Right, because now I'm like, I do know. I've studied. I promise you, I know exactly what this is. I also know music enough to know that this is a fluid thing. You can use it for the good that you wanted to use it for, and can uplift something from it. I'm not saying that everything should be, but I'm just telling you, it's a fluid conversation, and that's what we have. I think that dealing with other people in this world, other human beings as we are,
right,
the thing is to understand, respect your space, respect where you are, like you're saying, people in your car, respect the space. Listen, they got AirPods in, you know, they're fine where they are. People where they are, they don't want to hear that song, Strange Fruit. Okay, I understand it. Please scroll up and keep going. You don't have to try to beat me down because I am okay. I'm okay with whatever, anything. And I'm not saying I'm okay with that song. I'm just trying to say, whatever the conversation is, respecting the space that people are in, and not trying to say you should, other than, unless it's something like to me, like, hey, listen, I don't want to hear your racist comments. This is just, I'm going to help you. I'm going to let you understand that. But I've learned to even say, listen, I acknowledge that you're racist, and now I'm going to walk away. You know, right. I acknowledge that what your comments are racist. You don't understand how offensive what you're doing is. I've told you once, and I don't need to sit here. I used to try to preach at people about how racist things are or how racist people are. And there's a time and place for that. When you're in that space, do that. But I'm no longer trying to lift people up anymore like that. From the head.
Because it's not your job.
It's not my job. That's the universe will bring it to you in many, many ways. It really, truly will. And so you'll see, you know, and if you don't want to listen, you will feel like life is steamrolling you. And it's really not. It gave you all the opportunities to adjust.
One story I had, and I'm going to have to wrap it up after that because we have 5 minutes. But,
okay.
My mom, I was at the doctor's office or at the hospital. I forgot why. Anyhow, my mom was there, and so was my other ex. And they were in the room where I was. And then the doctor came. And the doctor comes, and he looks Middle Eastern, right? But I saw his last name on the tag. Okay, so he's talking, and he's telling me this is going on with you. This is going on with you. And then my mom, who was sitting on the window, she says it in Spanish. She's like, "Tell him this, tell him that, tell that stupid, doctor. He don't know what he's saying." And, da, da, da. And then he turns to her. He's like, "Señora, yo hablo español. ¿Quiere decirlo?" I'm like, "Oh my God. Oh, you see what happens?" And I was laughing. I'm like, me and my boyfriend were like, or my ex-boyfriend. I was like, see, you don't know. You don't know. It could be black. It could be, Hispanic. It could be a white-looking person, or it could be whatever, any color. Asians too are Hispanics. Come on. And I'm like, you should have thought about it before you open your big old mouth. Well, thinking you're whispering to me as if nobody else heard you in the room.
Right. Speaking loud and clear in another language that somebody else understands.
Right. It's like, burn.
But you let people expose themselves sometimes like that. I let people like, okay, let's keep on talking. Let's hear how racist you are.
Right.
Show everybody your true self.
Dig a deeper hole where you're going to be going in a minute. Exactly.
Sometimes, and then, yep, you're going to, Didn't mean to do that.
Oh, there you go. Like Robin Williams, like, there you go.
See you later.
Bye. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the unfortunate joy. It's like, oh, you're digging your own
Yeah.
hole. Yep.
Karma's a witch, isn't it? Karma's a bitch. Yeah. Or I say witch because, anyways, I'll tell you later. But
Okay.
I have a whole thing around karma as a witch. But it was like the phrase of one of my poems that became a theater production. It was about the wicked witch, and she would say that at the end. She's like, karma is a witch. Like everything I tried on you. I
Yeah.
sent you my flying monkeys. I
Yeah.
sent you my
That's
thunderstorms, and I
it.
put you through the forest, and you came out unscathed. And shit, karma's a witch, isn't it?
Yep. I like because you should make that merch. You should like make some merch off that.
I do. I should. Yeah.
You
I
should.
have a whole thing behind that. So yeah, maybe I will.
Yeah, that's
That's
a
a good
good
idea.
because it's true. Like you're literally number one. I'm sorry. I know we got to go. Do I need to stop? Okay.
2
But
minutes.
I was gonna say because number one, you are literally creating your own future by what you say. You know, that's the witchery of this life. Your words are magical. So if you're saying to yourself, you know, this life is awful. This life is awful. Guess what? All you have, that's it. Is your awful life. But literally, and it doesn't take much to turn it around. Change your words because karma's a witch. Literally, you can create the most magical life. You know what? I see the beauty in everything. And then guess what you begin to do? In that same space, like literally, you could be in the same room, and now you're getting instead of seeing all the dirt on the floor, you're seeing all of the beauty around you and saying, you know, wow, this is a beautiful place to be in. What a healing place I'm in. I'm so grateful that I've unpacked this.
We're gonna have to do another part so we can wrap this up.
100%.
Yeah, because I didn't plug it enough. All right, so we are gonna wrap this up, guys. It's been nice unpacking some. It's actually not all of it. This is a lot of more unpacking to do, but I think we unpacked enough in one episode.
Yes, this is a healthy dose.
Yeah, it's like much needed.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to just do my list of demands that I have because I need to I know what I need to do, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
And this conversation has helped me as conversations that I've had with my friends last night. We had like a nice because we have a bar in the kitchen, and we pretended that we were in a bar.
Mm-hmm. Yes, talking to the bartender.
Oh my Lord, it was so great. We had a little bourbon. It was nice.
That's
nice.
good. Look, these conversations. I just say this for anybody. It's not just saying you and me, but anybody who's watching this. Anybody, like, let's continue to attract that. Let's continue to attract conversations that are healing, that are on the path of healing. And you talk about your trauma and healing. You talk about it. You talk about what the triggers are. You talk about the contrast. And then you start doing the work. And the work is this conversation first, a conversation like this. And then, like you said, writing. That's the key. Writing down. How do I want to feel? What does this look like? What do I do if somebody doesn't treat me that way? Yeah.
You can't see it, but
no, I can't see it. It looks like no. Put it in front of you, like, literally. And yes.
Oh, like this.
Yes.
It says let the adventures begin.
I love that. I love the maps of the world. I love it. Yeah. Yes.
There's a little bit of flat earth on this one, but
I'm gonna do this because then you realize there's some boundaries. Now I've got to get either tighter with it, you know. So as time grows on, it's just not like, well, that fence has been up for years and let's leave it alone. No, you got to mend some things and tighten some things up. So
you got to repair the wall again. It's like, okay, Bye. So going up.
We do some painting and get a little higher, or realize maybe sometimes your boundaries a little bit too stiff. So it's a learning process. This is all it is. And you grow, and then you have this adventure of life, and you're saying, now I love my life. Now I love the peace I have. Now I love the peace that's here first. It's not because everybody has changed around me. That's not going to happen. It happens here.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that was a nice way to wrap it. Hold on a second. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna put all the information below. You have to follow Erica. She goes by Infinite Abundance, which is awesome. And she's there. Sorry, go ahead.
Infinite Abundance CLE. It's Cleveland.
All right, CLE. And we're gonna have actually another part. We're gonna do another episode, guys. I won't say much, but you need to hear it because it's gonna have some music.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some another guest coming in. Dede.
Day.
Okay. Dede. Okay. Dede Yuki will be coming. And guys, I have 4%. I gotta go. So with that, thanks for tuning in. You didn't see this coming.
Yay!
We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
It's a Lowe's Blog Talk Radio.